Is there something that you really love about week one that just feels different, especially this is your first week one in a Rams uniform?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to just start fresh, regardless of what happened the year before. You know, for new teams, new player coming to a new team like this, it's just a clean slate. So you can't really ask for much more than that. Come in and fresh. It's the healthiest the team's going to be. So it's just a new opportunity to, be able to go out there and put it on display. So I'm excited for it.
Davante, what's it been like working with Matthew Stafford, and how have you two kind of bonded out there?
It's been great. I mean, it started as soon as I got here. You know, the verbals. We got to obviously work in the off-season program, so that gave us a little bit of a head start there. They missed a little bit of time, obviously with his injury. So just having that time to kind of go through stuff in the film room, talk about stuff. He was in the back when we were out at LMU, watching some of my routes, being able to, tell me, here, I think you could do this, or I like how you did that, and maybe I'll adjust, based off what you're doing. So like I said before, it's just so much of what we do is what's not out here. So we obviously got a lot of time to connect and get on the same page. And then when we get out here, being able to time it up and go through some stuff with live bullets obviously helps a lot too. So, we were able to pick up where we left off when he got out there.
Do you notice the difference in the timing that you were talking about from when he came back from the back injury to now, weeks later?
His timing?
With the timing you guys worked on together?
Yeah, I mean, I would say from that part of it, I think we both have a really good understanding of this offense, me having some experience in it in the past. So me knowing where I'm supposed to be, him obviously having the best idea of where the receiver is supposed to be, and just having the trust in it, in my craft, and kind of feeling out my body language and some of the things that I do, and me kind of taking note on some of the things he does as well. So the timing will continue to get better, but I think we're in a good place.
You had a pretty good game against this defense last year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you remember about the defense? It's an impressive defense.
It is. I mean, it's a good defense on paper, on tape, individually. All the players. I mean, they play well together. They have some real good individual talent. I think it's one of the best, as far as star-studded teams across the board on defense. So, a lot of respect for them. Every level too. I mean, up front they got the big two obviously that everybody knows about, but they got some good interior guys as well. Backers play real hard, and they got some guys on the back end that know how to play as well. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good challenge.
Davante, with you being 12th opener, Matthew 16, can that type of experience close the gap of whatever reps you may have not gotten while he was overcoming the back?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you got experience, especially like I said, we both have experience in this type of offense, so it can only help, but it doesn't do everything for you. Obviously, you need to be able to get out here and get on the grass, which now we have the opportunity and have been for the last few weeks. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. Just because I'm going in year 12 and he's going in, I think it's 17 actually. I don't guarantee you anything, but it definitely gives you an opportunity to kind of, rely on some of the savvy you have built up and some of the experience you've already kind of have in your body a little bit.
His no-look passes, is that something you've gotten used to yet?
What was that?
His no-look passes, Stafford's, is that something you've gotten used to yet?
I dealt with a guy that did a little bit of that over the course of my career, so yeah, used to it.
Davante, can you speak on being a veteran receiver and coming in and working with the core like this core on some of the tips that you've given them to improve their game?
Yeah, I mean, we'd be sitting here for a long time if I told you about everything, but it's just so many different nuances, and I've learned a different way to attack this position, and I feel like I've studied the position, studied DBs, much different way than what people have done in the past, and people even do now. So I think me just being able to shed some of the different coverage elements and different tips, small nuances, about route running, releases. It's really just a big umbrella of things. And as we, kind of get into whatever we're talking about at the moment, I try to shed as much as I know, that could help the guys. Some things I know that may not be transferable to everybody, so you can't just go out and teach everybody, hey, do this. But if you give them the tools and allow them to practice it, obviously in camp and when we come out here, that's what this period of the season is for, to work on stuff so you can know what works for you, when it's time to go into week one.
How are you feeling? How's the back holding up?
Feel good. Been out here practicing with the guys. Feel good. Feel ready to go.
Paper
Matthew,
cuts holding up too.
Oh, go ahead.
I said paper cuts holding up too.
Yeah. It's somewhere over there. Healed up.
Does your philosophy change from year to year when you get out here for week one?
No, I'm just always excited, to have the opportunity to play NFL football. It's such a blessing to be a part of this. I've worked a long time to get to this point, and a lot of people have helped me out throughout the way or along the way, and I'm just happy to get the opportunity to suit up with these guys, go to battle with them.
How have you seen your chemistry with Davante develop from the start of the offseason, getting those reps, to now being out here during training camp with him?
Yeah, every time we're stepping out on the grass together, we're getting better. I'm learning him, he's learning me. We're talking about what we want to do on certain plays, and so all the time that we've had, on the grass and frankly off the grass has been valuable time. He's a smart guy. He's been around for a long time. He's played the game at a high level for a long time. So the conversations that we have are smart. They're on the point, and we're moving on. It's been great to work with him so far. I've had a blast, and can't wait to get out there and play on Sunday.
What's the hardest aspect of that, of building chemistry with a new player that you need actual reps on the field to do?
I don't know that there is like a hardest aspect of it. I think the more time, the more dialogue, the more reps that you get, the better it gets. And obviously the only thing that we're up against, like every team is up against, is just the amount of reps that you get, especially this time of year. It's super dialed in game plan wise, and so every time you get out there on the grass, you got to make those reps count.
Within that learning process with Davante, one of the things that's made him unique in his career is the way he varies, the speed he runs his routes. He obviously has an understanding of pass concepts and route concepts and what you guys are trying to accomplish with those, but what's that collaboration process like when in those moments where he's thinking about ad-libbing something versus like needing to be like truly aligned to that concept?
Yeah, I think we talk about it a lot, as an offensive, understanding where you fit in, and how you may be activated on a certain play versus a certain coverage, and then on that same play versus a different coverage, you might be helping your teammate out, a little bit more. So, he's a smart guy. He understands that when those times come to use the unique skills that he has to get open. He's done a heck of a job doing that. It's been a lot of fun to be around, a lot of fun to watch. But at the same time, has an understanding of, hey, this may not be my play in this coverage, and I got to make sure I do my job to help my teamate out.
What aspects of this Houston defense pop out to you as players, concepts, stuff?
Yeah, obviously they got really good players. Got guys up front that can rush the passer, do a nice job of stopping the run, and then I think their back end is as talented as anybody in the league. They do a heck of a job with, marrying Russian coverage, which is what you want as a defense. So, I got a ton of respect for him. Obviously played at a really high level last year and have a lot of the same players and added a few more. So, it'll be a huge challenge for us.
Matthew, with everything you've endured with your back in this offseason, no quarterback wants to be hit, but do you feel you need to be hit in any way, or are you 100% when you get hit, you're good?
Oh, I'm going to go play the game. Whatever happens, happens. I'm playing like I always play. I got no issues with, a physical game. Obviously would love to stay as clean as possible, but, I'm not thinking twice about that at all. I'm out there ready to go play.
Between that and the addition of Davante, how different does it feel different going into week one this year?
Yeah, I think every year is kind of uniquely different. The makeup of the guys, the way the offseason has gone, it's always different. It never stays the same, whether that's personnel or, how things roll in the offseason. Obviously, we've had Alaric dealing with what he's dealing with, all these kind of things that come up, and you always know you're going to have to weather some of those storms. You don't know when they're coming. We had a few come before the season, and hopefully, not too many during the season, but just excited. I don't take it for granted going out here and playing, getting the opportunity to play NFL football, be a part of, a league that's meant a lot to me and a lot of other people in this world. So just excited to get out there and have the opportunity.
You guys try and make every game the same, whether it's week 1 or week 7. But what is the difference running out on the field for week 1?
Just haven't done it in a while. That's the biggest difference, to be honest with you. You're obviously excited. There's a little bit of the unknown in the fact that teams can kind of keep what they're doing a little close to the vest. You could say through preseason, you get 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks down the line, and you kind of understand what teams are about, and you can really dial in on it. There is a little bit of the unknown, as far as week 1 goes, but other than that, it's just the excitement of getting back out there, knowing that another season's happening. Haven't done it in a while.
Do you feel like any element of the unknown just on your guys' part with new receivers and just curious like how this is all going to come together in week 1?
No, I think more so just concept-wise, what people are doing. I don't imagine a whole lot of people are out there, just trying to win every single preseason game by 30 points by scheming everybody up and doing exactly what they're doing in practices and doing all that. So it's more schematic than it is anything else. For us, it's just continue to do what we've been doing in practice, try to go execute at a high level, play with a bunch of toughness and physicality, and let the chips fall where they may.
How do you describe Sean as a play caller?
Obviously a really smart play caller. I think he's a guy that has great feel within the game. I think he's innately aggressive. And sometimes that's running the ball, right? Like we run it for 6, we run it for 5. He's like, I'm just going to keep doing this. You know what I mean? And that can be aggressive, in the way he calls it too. So, I think he's got great demeanor on the headset, calling plays and making sure everybody's on the same page. But yeah, he's got great feel for the game. Obviously, he understands how to scheme people up, during the week. And then if there's adjustments that need to be made, he's as quick as I've ever been around to make those adjustments.
You mentioned Alaritz. He's back in practice this week. He's been through a lot in the last couple of months. What have you seen from him, the way he's handled all that, and how much would it mean if he can be out there on Sunday?
No, I mean, he's handled it like an unbelievable professional. I'm so proud of him and happy for him. Obviously, unfortunate when you have to deal with stuff like that, but he's done a hell of a job behind the scenes. I was kind of behind the scenes for a while doing my own stuff, working out and seeing what he's doing and how he's been taking care of business. I mean, that's what you want from your guy, and he's done a hell of a job. Really, his whole career, it's been really cool to watch him kind of grow into the player and the person that he is right now, and just happy for him and wish him all the success.
Over the last couple of seasons, have you and Sean ever discussed adding the tush push to the?
It has not come up.
What are your thoughts on Terrence Ferguson's development so far?
He's done a nice job. Obviously, missed a little bit of time there in training camp. So, having him back out there the last week and a half, whatever it's been, has been great. He's a ton of talent. A guy that's figuring out the NFL, understanding where he fits in our offense. But he's got a bunch of guys in that room to really lean on to help show him the way. But just happy to have him on our team. Really talented kid and a person that cares about football, cares about our team. So we'll take him. Thank you.
Guys, go ahead.
Sean, has your philosophy changed over the years for week 1 of getting started in football?
I would say, Maria, it's just kind of it's a yearly thing. I think, you want to try to be able to do what's best for each team. You certainly use your accumulated experiences to apply, whether it be mistakes or things that we've done well. But more than anything, I think everybody's just excited to be able to get going and go play the best of our ability.
Will everyone practice today?
Yep.
How's Josiah Stewart?
He's good. Yeah, he's fully cleared. It was good to be able to get him out there last week, Greg, and so he's doing great.
Starting in the spring and then into the training camp practices that Matthew took part in, how have you seen his chemistry with Davante develop?
I think it was really on display in the spring where they got a bunch of good reps. And obviously, in those settings, it's almost like a passing camp. You don't get as many runs off. So I thought that was great for them to be able to get that rapport. And then since Matthew's been back out here, I mean, these guys, they see the game through a very similar lens, Sarah. And so it's been awesome, and that was kind of the goal in mind. And, it'll be exciting to see those guys, bring it to life against a great challenge and a great defense on Sunday.
The Houston defense looks really good on paper. What have you seen? What stands out to you about that?
Yeah, they're good on paper and they're good on tape. So it's, D'Amico's a guy that I've always had a ton of respect for, but, there's a very clear-cut philosophy. They've got the personnel to match how they want to be able to play with the way that their front rolls off the football. They've got dominant players on the second and third levels. They've got elite players on the outside. Obviously, Stingley gets much-deserved recognition, and I think Lassiter is an excellent corner opposite him. Petrie's is good of a nickel as there is in terms of the physicality, and then when they get into their base defense, he can play safety. And obviously, their edge guys get it deservingly so a bunch of recognition, and and they have a full rotation of guys inside and outside that we got to be ready to go for. So it's a great defense. You see why all the praise that they get is certainly well earned and deserved, and we got our work cut out for us, and that's what you love.
Sean, from the time the schedule comes out, obviously you're focused on camp and all those stacking blocks. At what point do you focus on the Texans?
Usually a couple weeks out. I mean, I think the thing you don't want to do is feel like you're preparing for the opener, and we're preparing for the season as a whole. What do we do foundationally? How do we shape each other offensively and defensively in these practices, in some of the joint practice settings? What I don't think you want to do is feel like you're practicing for a team where there's inevitably some unscouted looks, where you feel like you're practicing against, each other long enough, but you don't want to feel like you're preparing for the Texans forever. So usually you get a bonus Monday, and that's what we used, and here we are on our normal Wednesday.
You talked about kind of years past. In years past, every year you don't have the film of what they're doing different. Do you notice that, we didn't expect that, or is it?
Well, I think that's inevitable, and I think coaches, do a good job, but you want to be able to play rules ball. I think you want to be careful not to chase ghosts, especially early on in the season when there's continuity on certain phases, and then they've got, a new offensive coordinator that we've obviously talked about. But it still is about, playing, to our best strengths, and what do we do best, what's our philosophy, and then how do we specialize that given the fact that, you're going against their personnel, their schemes that might alter a little bit, but there still are some foundational things that we're always going to want to be able to get off in all three phases.
Sean, you've talked a lot in the past about Kyron's energy and how big of an impact that's made. Now that he's a captain, how has that impacted what his energy can bring?
Well, I think he's been consistent. That's the good thing, and I think he's earned that respect. I think everything, when you're leading, and we've got so many capable leaders on our team, I think the first thing is it resonates if it's authentic. And then do you really, do you model the way? I think seen is better than said. He's got this authentic energy that's always been consistent with who he is. It uplifts everybody. He's got a mental and a physical toughness that he plays with. So you've heard me talk about, he epitomizes, and as do a lot of our guys in our locker room, what we're looking for in Rams. I thought it was cool that he got recognized by his teammates. And I think he's just continued to mature into the best version of himself while still maintaining, the authenticity to who he is and who he's always been, going back to watch him at Notre Dame, and I'm sure when he was playing Little League ball in St. Louis.
You speak about maturing and evolving. This is year 9 for you.
I don't know if I've matured at all.
Does this year feel different for you?
I think, here's what I would say. I think going into year 9, you have a lot of things that you can look back on, and that's, there's some good experiences, and then there's been some ones that you want to make sure that you learn from. But what I'm continually reminded of is it's all about people. Surrounding yourself with people that you want to do right by, whether that's your players, your coaches. I think you try to learn from your mistakes and be honest, and make sure you're surrounded by truth tellers as well. People that'll tell you, hey, what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And then that allows you to be able to be the leader or the person that you want to be for, people in all phases of your life. I think there's certain things that have happened in my life where really young when you get this job, going through a lot of different things in life that forces you to have a better purpose and perspective. Getting married, having a little boy, another little boy on the way. So there's been a lot of blessings in the midst of it, and I think, if you apply it the right way, you can improve as well.
With getting Stafford back and with Davante being new, what's the balance for you between just trusting two veterans who've adjusted to new teammates throughout the years and also just letting their chemistry grow?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think you want to try to accumulate as many reps as possible. You always want to make sure, I think the best teams are the ones that have player ownership and autonomy, and these guys have earned the right to be able to have that. There still is a structure at which we want to be able to operate, to be able to play 11 as one, but there's a beauty in what these guys can do. And so I think that's been earned by those guys, but the more reps that we can accumulate, the more that they can get on the same page, especially with some of the things where the picture changes and it might alter what you're going to do from an offensive perspective. It's so valuable for us. But the better we are, the better our players are, and that's the biggest thing is those guys having that ownership.
Do you think that the Texans have the personality of DeMeco Ryans? And I think back to that playoff win against the Chargers last year where they were just relentless. They did not stop. They just poured it on them.
Yeah, I think, you just said it, Gerard. They do. And I think that's a tremendous credit to DeMeco's leadership, the impact that he has, not exclusive to the defense, but really in all three phases. And that's been illustrated each of the last couple years. Even I look at his first year there where, they got to pull out a win against the Colts at the end to be able to win the division. They go win a wild card game, and, they've won 2 playoff games. They've been in the final 8 each of the last 2 years, won 2 divisions. So he's a damn good coach. He's a great leader, and I think in a lot of instances, that's absolutely accurate, which was what makes them such a great team.
Coach, for the first time in his career, C.J. Stroud is expected to be able to make audibles and changes to protection the line of scrimmage. How does that impact you tactically?
Well, I'm not exactly familiar with what they were doing in those first couple years. I know he looked pretty damn good, and he looked like he had real clarity and an ownership of what they were trying to get done. I'll see if I can call Kaylee and see which audibles that he's going to give them for this game so that we could be ready. But, I think that's just the natural progression for any of these quarterbacks. He's a stud. He's a guy that, has earned the recognition and the praise that he gets. And so we've got to be ready to play rules ball, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, Brock. It is the first week. I'm looking forward to watching watching our defense fly around, and they've got great players. You know that they'll be able to, be productive in both phases, and so we've got to be ready to roll. Okay? Thanks, guys.